What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these. Beautiful, delicious, beefy, bacony, cheesy, scratch-made, amazing bacon smashburger pizzas. Coming up. This is some meat. Ooh. Pat them dry. And what I've got here is a couple of chuck roasts. Got some good marbling, good fat content in there, which should make for some really good burgers, which is great because today we're making some cheeseburger pizzas, which is good because I haven't made a pizza in a really long time. And truth be told, I'm not very good at it, so I need all the practice I can get because making pizza is a lot of fun and everybody loves a good slice of pizza. And also everyone loves a good burger. So I think this combination should work out very nicely. You know, instead of a bun, we got a crust. Instead of a tomato sauce, we got a burger sauce. Gotta have cheese. We'll throw some fixins on top, and hopefully everything goes according to plan. And obviously you don't need to grind your own meat for this kind of a recipe. You could just pick up some ground beef, but I like to grind my own because it's a lot higher quality. And it's not nearly as worked as some of the pre-ground beef you can get at the store, and I'm running low on burger supplies in the freezer, so it's time to stock up. But first things first, I'm gonna cube this up to make these pieces a little bit smaller so they fit into the meat grinder a little bit easier. Looking good to me, nicely cubed up. So now I'm gonna park these in the freezer for a little bit to get nice and cold to ensure we get a nice clean grind. And now that our meat is nice and cold, through the grinder we go. Got the fine dye on there, and we're gonna send it through one time. Beautiful. Beautiful, nice, clean grind on that. Looking pebbly, good fat content. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up a little bit just to make sure all that fat is evenly distributed. And also a little mix like this will help with the bind because we don't want it too crumbly, but still not as overworked as the pre-ground stuff at the store. For a more tender bite. Then I'm gonna bust out a scale and start weighing this into some 3-ounce little meatballs. That was exactly 2 ounces. Bigger than that. Just like that. And now we repeat until we've got Meatball Mountain. Oh, what a beautiful sight. And of course you could go ahead and just make some ground beef like taco meat style and sprinkle it on top, but if we're making a cheeseburger pizza, I think we should make some actual burgers. So let's go ahead and fire up the pit. So to get things started off, I got the griddle side heated up, and we're gonna go ahead and cook off some bacon because I don't think a bacon cheeseburger sounds like a bad thing. And you gotta love a wood-powered griddle. And now that we've got a beautifully bacon greased up griddle, screaming hot, let's go ahead and make ourselves some smash burgers. Hit those with a pinch of salt, and let them sear away. Gotta love a good old-fashioned smash burger. And just like that, big beautiful tray of some smash burgers. Next up, let's go ahead and bust out a quick burger sauce. Start by going into a bowl with some ketchup. I'm gonna go pretty ketchup heavy for this burger sauce because it is a pizza and this is tomato based. Followed by some mustard, ooh, boop, some mayonnaise, a shot of some Worcestershire sauce, some granulated garlic, and some freshly cracked black pepper. And get that all nice and mixed up. Just make it a classic burger sauce here. And I thought about using a traditional tomato sauce and then doing a drizzle of special sauce like this on the top, but everybody I asked said I should just go burger sauce all the way. So let me know your thoughts in the comment below, but anytime you're adding ketchup and mayonnaise to a pizza, it does sound pretty weird. So I guess we'll have to see how this comes out. But you can make this to your taste, whatever ratios you like, just taste and adjust. It's a burger sauce at the end of the day. Beautiful. So at this point, we've got our sauce, we've got our cheese, we've got our toppings. So now all we need to do is talk about our dough, which luckily I got started a few days ago. Pizza dough starts with some bread flour, some diastatic malt powder, some water, and our sugar. Dough hook goes on. Oh, wrong one. Oh God, what a mess. That's the right one. And now we're gonna need this very gently to make sure flour doesn't go flying all over the place. And once that has all come together, we're gonna go ahead and push it down into the bowl, cover it with a little kitchen cloth here, and we're gonna let this rest and sit here for the next 20 minutes or so to let all that flour hydrate. 20 minutes later, dough is looking a little bit more stretchy and a little more relaxed. So now we're gonna go in with the rest of our ingredients, which is our salt, and we're gonna get that mixed in real quick. And we're also gonna stream in some olive oil. And now we're gonna let that knead for about 6 to 10 minutes. Ooh, looking pretty good. Still a little bit sticky, which is fine. It is rather high hydration. So now out our dough comes into a greased bowl. That was a little too hard. So now I'm gonna cover this up and let this rise for the next 30 minutes. Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night realizing you forgot to do something? Well, that just happened to me, but luckily it's not the middle of the night. It's about 15 minutes later. And yeah, I forgot to add yeast, which is like the most important part of a dough. So luckily it shouldn't be a big deal because it's at this stage I was gonna start doing stretch and folds and continuing to knead this anyway. So we'll just throw it back in the stand mixer and add our yeast. Glad I caught it now. It's that pesky diastatic malt powder. Looks a lot like yeast. Tricked me. So, yeast going in. Rookie move. All right, now we're gonna let it rest for another 30 minutes. And after like 45 minutes or so, we are going to continue the strength building process by doing some stretch and folds. Simply just grab this dough, stretch it, fold it, rotate it, stretch it, fold it. This is really going to increase the strength of the gluten in here, making sure it stretches out nicely and is nice and strong without tearing or getting holes in it. And I'm gonna repeat this process every 30 minutes or so for the next couple of hours until you can really stretch it nice and far. Looks pretty good already, but this is gonna make it a little less sticky and nice and stretchy. So I'll probably do this 3 or 4 more times. And after a couple hours and several stretch and folds, this dough is starting to look very nice and stretchy. Take a big pull of it, doesn't want to tear or anything like that, which is good. You could always do the old window pane test if you wanted to. So now I'm going to pull it out of here and I'm going to weigh it. And then I'm going to divide it into 3 equal pieces. Beautiful. Definitely a lot less sticky now, which is great. A lot easier to work with. And now I'm going to take each dough ball and get it into a nice tight ball, just putting all the seams on the underside and making sure everything is pinched closed. Give it a nice tight little ball ski here. Something like that. And then into a grease container we go. Beautiful. So now I'm going to park this in the fridge for the next few days to continue fermenting at a cooler temperature, building up a lot of really good flavor, letting the gluten relax and all that good stuff. But I suppose you could use this now if you wanted to give it like another hour or so to relax, then form a pizza. But the longer you let it ferment, the more tasty it will be. And it's convenient to make it ahead of time. So I'm probably going to let this go for a couple of days and then we'll check back in. 3 days later, our dough is looking absolutely beautiful. So I pulled this dough out of the fridge probably about 3 hours ago, and I transferred them all into these round bowls because that's just going to help with the shaping. But it's looking nice and fluffy, up to room temp, so we should be good to go. So we're going to start out by hitting it with a little bit of flour, and we'll hit some on the board as well, and out it comes. Beautiful. Do a little flour on top, and we're just going to start pressing this out, starting by forming our crust, which I doubt I'll be able to keep, but you know, here's to trying. And we're just going to start trying to stretch this bad boy out as wide as it will go. My oven maxes out at about 16 inches wide, so that's what I'm going to be aiming for here today. A nice big pie. Stretching and folding. Again, trying to maintain a crust here, but we'll see how it goes. Pretty easy dough to work with though. That's nice. We definitely don't want to make that center too thin, so which is why I'm kind of working the edges here. Just kind of flopping it back and forth. Do I look like a real pizza guy yet? Definitely starting to get pretty thin in the middle. But just like that, stretched out pretty easily, looking pretty big. And I'm gonna try a trick that I saw my buddy Dave over at Wilson's Barbecue here on YouTube try. Go like and subscribe, tell him Chud sent you. But he busted out one of these. A pizza screen. Never seen this trick done before, but this fits perfectly in that oven, because he has the same oven. And this kind of takes all the guesswork out of trying to launch a pizza, because that can be a really tricky part, and I've messed it up enough times to scare me. So hopefully this should make the job a little bit easier. So I'm gonna load it onto here. Hit that with a little semolina just for good measure, although 99% of it's gonna hit the table. That's fine, but I've never used one of these before, so I'm interested to see how it comes out. The nice thing about this is a 16-inch pie, so I know exactly the size it is without the guesswork of trying to make it the right size on the peel. Pretty convenient, and it's nice and round. But to build our pie, we're gonna go down with some of our burger sauce, as much or as little as you see fit. Spread that around nice and evenly, right to the edges. Followed by our 3 different cheeses, which include some mozzarella, because this is a pizza after all, some cheddar, little sharpness, little extra burgery flavor, and everyone's favorite, some American, because I believe it's the only cheese that should go on a burger. And it should melt pretty well in the high heat oven, but I guess we'll find out. Looks pretty good, nice cheese coverage. So now we're gonna go down with some of our beautiful little burger chunks, and these should cook up real nice because they're so thin. Kind of like a little beefy pepperoni situation. Tell you what, it's starting to smell like a cheeseburger. And then of course, gotta go down with some of our bacon. I like how I've made 2 pizzas on this channel, and both have been a little unorthodox and had bacon on them. That's fine. Atop that, we'll go down with some of our red onions. I do love thinly sliced red onions on a pizza. They kind of melt right in. We gotta have pickles on this pizza, and I wasn't sure if I should put them on now or if I should put them on after this thing is cooked, but I think we're just gonna go for it now and see what happens. And if they're terrible, we can make another one. That's why I got 3 doughs. As if putting ketchup and mayonnaise on a pizza wasn't weird enough. Now we're putting pickles on it. Please don't roast me too hard in the comments. Although I'm hardly the first person to ever make a cheeseburger pizza, come on. And to finish it off, I'm gonna go down with a little bit of extra cheese, just to kind of melt over all these toppings, so everyone knows that it is in fact still a pizza. And there it is, folks, all loaded up. Let's throw it into the oven. Got the old Gosney Arc XL fired up. We're rocking about 750, 770 at the moment, which is pretty hot, but the flame is now off. So in we go with no pizza peel. Pretty convenient. Ow. And the plan here is to just let that bake for a little bit. The oven has been heating up for a good probably hour at this point, so the floor should be nice and hot. And as soon as that crust sets, we'll be able to take it off the screen and rotate it freely. So we'll check back in probably 2 or 3 minutes. Give this a little rotate. Crust is looking nice. Then a few minutes, so I'm gonna pull this out and do my best to shimmy it off of the peel here. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and easy. It's still nice and clean. At this point, I'm gonna kick the flame back onto low and start browning up that crust, rotating frequently. And just like that, out it comes. All in all, first attempt looks pretty good to me. Decent coloring, good puffage on that crust. Top looks pretty browned, but nothing is burned, which is good. Underside, oh yeah, that looks beautiful. That's a nice looking pie. A little extra crustiness on that burger. Cheese is melted nicely. Pickles didn't seem to be a problem. Would have liked a little more color on that crust, but I've got an idea for that for the next one we make. But for a first run with that screen, I'm liking it a lot. Took a lot of the stress out of it. Made another pizza exact same way thus far, and we're gonna do the first cook on it. Mostly just trying to get that crust to puff up a little bit. Something along the lines of that. Don't drop it. Oh. And now I'm gonna take an egg wash and I'm gonna paint this crust. And I'm a little nervous because an egg wash in a really hot oven might not work out so well, which is why we made the first one first. And now we're gonna go down with some sesame seeds to really just drive home the cheeseburger pizza aesthetic. Oh, that's sticking perfectly. Looks more like a burger already, but that looks good. So back into the oven we go. Flame on low. Love this pizza oven. Not sponsored. So far, it appears to be working. I'm a little worried that the sesame seeds are gonna burn before the crust browns, but I guess we'll find out. And for the record, this pizza oven's rocking around 640 right now, and these take about probably 4 or 5 minutes to cook, but this would definitely work in your home oven on a pizza steel at like 550 or however hot it gets. And just like that, pizza number 2 is done. Looking pretty good. Loving the way that crust looks. Almost looks like a pretzel crust. Ooh, That'd be a fun idea. Got this resting on a wire rack so it doesn't steam out the bottom, but let's take a look at that bottom, shall we? Oh yeah, thing of beauty. Pretty happy about that. Now, of course, you could eat this pizza as is, but to really finish the aesthetic of a cheeseburger pizza, I'm probably gonna ruin it by going down with a little bit of iceberg lettuce. God, who puts lettuce on a pizza? What am I doing here, folks? And some more tomatoes, because it is a pizza. Need some more tomatoes. And then one final zig of our burger sauce. And there it is, all garnished up, the cheeseburger pizza. And there they are, folks, two cheesy, beefy, bacony, fully loaded, and not fully loaded, because, you know, we're gonna see which one we like better. But we got some beautiful cheeseburger pizzas. I think it's time to slice on in. I think we'll start with this guy. Pretty good looking pie to me, folks. Beautiful underside, nothing's too burnt. Got a good amount of stiffness to it. Fluffy crust. That's looking pretty good. Pretty cheesy. Happy with how this is looking. But this one with the sesame seeds really is a showstopper. I gotta say, that one does look pretty cool. Not nearly as dark as the other one though, which is fine. I think to start, we'll go with the unlettuced. You know what I mean? Nice and meaty, holds up. Whoa, that tastes exactly like a cheeseburger. That is fantastic. I mean, the beefy flavor is coming through a lot, but it's not sausage. You know what I mean? A lot of times when I get burger sausages or meat sausages from a pizza place, it's just got a weird texture, but this is a straight up smash burger, so it bites through nice and easily. That sauce isn't as weird as it sounds on a pizza either. That is lovely. Really nothing to complain about there. Cheesy, mustardy, in a good way. Probably the best crust I've made on a pizza yet. Love that pizza screen. Definitely getting a couple more of those. The 3 cheeses is a really nice touch too. I'm getting like the creamy kind of background cheeseburger note from the American. That cheddar is punching through because it's nice and sharp, and the mozzarella just ties it all together, gives it that nice classic pizza vibe, that goo factor. And that is just a meat lover's heaven right there. I like it. I kind of want to put more sauce on it, honestly. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, speaking of putting more sauce on it, let's go for the one that has more sauce on it. That tastes even more like a burger with the lettuce on it. Out of all the cheeseburger things, like sausage rolls or like jalapeno poppers or something, this is the one that tastes the most like an actual cheeseburger. You know, it's just a different form factor, but that is lovely. That crispy bacon, very nice touch. Not hating the lettuce on it either. Lettuce and tomatoes adds a little freshness, a little more moisture. That is phenomenal. I'm glad I made 2. Brooke.
Yes.
Would you like to try a cheeseburger pizza?
Yeah, this looks delicious. Wait, so there's 2 different kinds?
They're the same pizza, but this one's loaded up with lettuce and tomato and a little extra sauce.
This looks like a pretzel.
It does look like a pretzel. I said the same thing. No, that's a sesame seed crust.
Okay, this one is calling me, I think, first.
Nice big slice,
Oh my
too.
God.
Look at that thing. That's a beauty.
Wow, this is good. This does taste like the Chud burger.
It does, right?
All right, well, I'm going to eat 5 of these.
This one's giving me vibes of more like a Big Mac than like a burger. Something with that sauce with the lettuce on it. I usually don't put lettuce on burgers. Maybe that's it. It really does taste like the homemade burgers I make, though. Good because it's a homemade bread. It's got all the fixings on
This
it.
is so good. And I pause and eat this one. So what's the difference?
Same exact thing, except no sesame seeds, no external garnish on top.
Okay, so this is like the meat lovers.
Yeah, this is the slightly less healthy.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
More protein forward. Flavor's still there, though.
It's honestly not as ridiculous as I thought. When you think about a pizza covered in burger sauce and bacon and beef patties and 3 different types of cheese, it blends together quite well.
Yeah, the fresh veggies are kind of cutting through.
I was making fun of this one when I was garnishing it up, because putting lettuce on a pizza sounds like a weird thing to do, but I'm with you. I like this one better.
Yeah, it didn't wilt. The sauce really clinches it for me.
Yeah, I took a bite of this one first, and I said it needed more sauce. And that's where this one comes in. Also, the pickles held up great in the oven.
They still have a crunch.
Beefy, bacony, cheesy.
Good.
This is a hearty pizza right here. I like the flavors of it.
This is like hearty enough that I probably can only eat like 2.
Does beg the question though, what should our next pizza video be? We've done the barbecue chicken, and now we've done a smashy bacon burger.
Yeah.
We're getting it dialed in though. We might have to do a classic cheese.
Yeah, I don't know how you would incorporate anything on the channel with this, but Home Slice does their ricotta and spinach white pie.
What kind of meat is on it?
None.
Spinach, ricotta, and a bunch of bacon. Coming up.
Maybe prosciutto.
Prosciutto would be a good one. Thank you, Dave, for giving me the tip on that pizza screen, because it made this whole process a lot easier too. And I need all the help I can get. It should surprise no one that I love a meaty pizza, but I rarely get straight up beef on a pizza. You know, I'm more of like a pepperoni or a bacon kind of guy. But this one is really working well. The patties are so thin, they got a little crispiness to them. They cooked up and crisped up even more in the oven. And it's cheesy, and it still has bacon on it. And this is definitely something I'll be making again. It's good! But before I eat the rest of that pizza in there, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make an absolutely fantastic bacon cheeseburger pizza. I highly recommend giving this one a try. You know, what's not to like here? Everybody loves a good cheeseburger, everybody loves pizza, and you know everybody loves bacon. So you put them all together and it adds up to an absolutely fantastic bite, and definitely something I'll be making again very soon. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.